Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I hate to interrupt. I know there is a lot of chatting going on because people are seeing people they haven't seen in a while. But those of you who know me know we start on time. So we're starting on time. Welcome to St. Matthew's. This is the Episcopal Church, and today we are celebrating the ceremonial opening of 2 time capsules. One of them was from the 1912 building, which opened as a hospital in 1914. So that's one. And the other one is from 1980. And there aren't too many people in this room that really would. Does 1980 seem old to you? But both of these time capsules were retrieved from the demolition of the Ohio Valley Medical Center and Ohio Valley General Hospital. My name is Mary McKinley. Many of you know me. I graduated from the nursing school in 1972 and was employed by the hospital for the majority of my career in various positions, lots of different positions. So,
my name is Betty Jo Sproul, and I'm also a graduate of Ohio Valley General Hospital in 1971. I had to look at the list. And I've been employed at the hospital in a variety of positions for about 47 years. And my last, I served as Administrator Director of Nursing at Peterson Rehabilitation Hospital.
One question that Betty Jo has been asked, and I've been asked, is why St. Matthew's? We're going to get to more detail on that towards the end of the ceremony. But just for you, for your understanding right now, why St. Matthew's is because there were 10 women called the Hospital 10 who were in this church, and they believed that the area needed to have another hospital besides the Wheeling Hospital that had already been well established. And so those 10 women from this hospital, plus the Reverend Rodney Swope, you'll see a picture of him in a minute, are the people who really got this place going. And we really got OV going. And we really felt that it was very fitting that we had our start here and that we have our end here and that we are celebrating that. It's great to see you all here. I'm so impressed by the fact that we'd have this many people come. So it's just really great. It's like a huge family reunion, because didn't OV feel like a family? Yeah. I mean, it's a really big family reunion. It seems like that. And those of you who know me and were ever in a class, there's a few of you here or there, that I have, you know I'm all for audience participation, right? Icebreakers, Kathy, remember? Okay, this one's going to be pretty simple. First of all, can we see the hands of those who worked at OVGH or OVMC? Oh. Woo, yeah. How about the people who worked at Peterson? Very good, thank you. Can we see the hands of those who graduated from or went to the School of Nursing? My husband made a joke a little while ago. He said, you know, if you're going to have a medical emergency, this is the place to have it today. Can we see the hands of those who volunteered at OV or Peterson? Thank you very much. And this is last, but certainly not least, because it was the mission of the hospital. Can we see the hands of those who were a patient or a family member of a patient? That was the job of that institution, was caring for people. So thank you all for coming today. Betty Jo?
Today we have to give a big thanks to the OVGH History Committee, who are here today in the front row. They have given their time, energy, and support, and are actively involved in the preservation and the history of OV. As I call your name, I'd like for you to please stand. Margaret Brennan. Laura Carroll. Peggy Porter, class of '74. Michael Borsak. Beth Kathy Corrales, Michelle Regenis, and James Stoltz, a long-term administrator at the hospital.
I have to give a very special thanks from Betty Jo and myself, and actually the whole committee, because we really need to recognize one committee member who actually started the process of saying that this institution and its employees deserve to have recognition for the difference that they made. And that is Sam Nazaro. So please stand. Mr. Nazaro also reminds the committee pretty much every time we get together once a month that competition was sometimes a good thing.
We'd like to thank St. Matthew's for having us here, and Libby Hupp, she's a class of 72 who played the music for us. We also want a special thanks to the City of Wheeling. They have been wonderful in helping us in our endeavors to preserve the history of OV. And especially thanks to Ohio County Library. They were willing when we went into the building the last couple of days that it was still open, and said, okay, where are we gonna put these items? And Laura Carroll raised her hand and said, we'll take them. So we now have 80 boxes plus in the archives at the Ohio County Library. They have been supportive, and I'm an Ohio resident, so I can't help out. But the library levy is on the ballot in a couple of weeks. Please vote for it, because they have been outstanding. On the cornerstone, covering the time capsule from 1912, are the words, "For the people, by the people." In the 1890 initial board minutes, the mission was stated as providing high-quality, cost-effective care to promote the health and well-being of those living in the community. And that mission never wavered over 120 years. We have always said OB made a difference in that in this valley, employing people, caring for people, and being an institution.
The goals of our history group, the OVGH history group, are really to recognize the contribution that the employees and the institutions made to the area. Again, this institution and its employees made a difference here. Today is kind of our first step in getting that recognition or doing that recognition. We're going to have the time capsule revealed here. The next steps include a couple of other projects. One is the iconic OVGH letters that are on the tower of the hospital. We have, through the city, through WB Medicine, we've been able to save those. They are coming down. They're coming down, and we're going to keep them, and they're probably going to wind up in my front yard or Betty Jo's front yard. we don't have a home for them yet, but we're going to find one. The city is, again, helping us to kind of look for what might be an appropriate place and how we can preserve them. They were put up in 1953 at the cost of $2,100. So there you go. So we're going to save those. Our effort is to make it a permanent and respectful display. So hopefully we'll find the right place for it, and we'll have maybe another ceremony where you all could come to an unveiling of those. So we'll see if we can do that. And another thing that the other project that we're doing, we have three. So this was one, letters is another. The third one is we're doing a documentary style video with an oral history of the hospital and the institutions, and again, the difference that it made. We're getting a tremendous amount of help with that from the folks from Wheeling Heritage. Two of them are wandering around today, and they may stop you and ask a question or two and put you on film, because we're trying to, again, capture all that OVMC was. In order to complete these projects, we are pursuing grants. We're looking for as many grants as we can possibly get. we're looking for some sponsorships, and we're also asking for some donations. There are donation cards in the back. We didn't want to hassle people today with donation cards, but if you have and are able to, it would be great to support that. We would appreciate that.
Before you are the covered tables. We have the display of the contents of the time capsules. Just a couple of notes about the capsules. First, the demolition company, F.R. Beneke, was very helpful and respectful in retrieving the capsules. Mary got a call and said, could you be here within 10 minutes? And she was there within 8, I think, for the 1980 time capsule. For the 1912, I was actually with students at Glendale, and Mary called and said, how soon could you be here? They're going to retrieve the 1912 one. I said, let me dismiss the students and I'll be there in 15. And it was amazing to me, even the gentlemen that were pulling out and riveting around the time capsules. I was born here. My mother was here. My grandmother was here. And they were very respectful of just taking the time capsules out. Secondly, we have to tell you the time capsules were open prior to today to ensure there were no big surprises. And we knew that things may not be really the way that we thought they would be and are in good shape. And we're glad we opened them, believe me.
It turns out, yes, that was a very good idea. Water damage had taken its toll. The 1980 time capsule, what it was buried in, you'll see a picture, was a big concrete block, but water had gotten into it. And then water got into the actual time capsule. But you'll see, we got stuff. We were able to save some stuff. The 1912 one was above ground, and we were hopeful that it would be a little less, but unfortunately, again, it's over, 1912, so it was there for a long time, and some moisture had gotten in, but we, again, have some of the items, and so you'll be able to see most of that. I was afraid when we opened them at the library. Laura Carroll, who is, again, the assistant director at the library and the archivist, she came, we opened them, and we all sort of noticed it was like stinky, and we're like, oh, but we thought, oh, well, that'll dissipate. Well, we were there and having a meeting, so about 5 minutes after, she comes in and you got to do something with these time capsules. I was thinking, and the whole basement of the library smelled. I thought, oh my gosh, it's never going to smell the same. And again, I'm glad I did, because I'm pretty sure Father Josh would not be happy if tomorrow this place smelled like a dead fish. It just wouldn't be a good thing. So our thanks go to Bob Contragera Sr. at Panhandle. As soon as she came and said, we can't keep these here, I said, well, where can we keep them? And, Panhandle, cleaning and restoration. So I gave Bob Contragera a call, and I said, hey, I got a problem. And he said, bring it on down. We'll take care of it, and don't worry about the cost. So they dehumidified the stuff so that, again, we were able to save some of the pieces we might not have been able to save otherwise, which is great. Again, some of the items were beyond saving. There just wasn't any way. There were some actual pictures there that I would have given my eye teeth to keep, but they were just destroyed. But again, we've been lucky that the Ohio County Library also had some of the items that were listed, and you'll see the list of the contents on both of them, and they had some of them so we could just sort of replace. So you might be saying, not the original, but sort of. So you'll have that. At the conclusion of the program, we're going to give you some directions and have you be able to walk up here so that you can get a close look at the items. One of the things we would only ask is no food or drink, and don't touch it. Because it's all pretty iffy there.
Now I'd like to turn your attention to Vice Mayor Chad Tallman, who has served, has a proclamation to read to us.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here. Whereas the Ohio Valley General Hospital, later transformed into the Ohio Valley Medical Center, played an important role in the healthcare landscape of the Ohio Valley for 129 years. And whereas the roots of this esteemed institution trace back to the year 1890, when a group of visionary women from St. Matthew's Church recognized the need for a second hospital in the region, and through their efforts, including bake sales, plays, and various fundraisers, they acquired the former female seminary, which was then transformed into City Hospital, opening its doors to patients in 1892. And whereas the commitment to serving the community continued to thrive, leading to the construction of a new building in 1912, a testament to the collective efforts of various church groups in the broader community, as symbolized by the inscription on the cornerstone, "By the people, for the people." And whereas OVGH, OVMC, has been more than a medical institution, it has been a cornerstone of compassion, care, and healing for countless individuals and families throughout the Ohio Valley, with generations of physicians beginning their careers, nurses receiving top-notch training, and dedicated staff tirelessly serving their community with care and dedication. And whereas it is only fitting that we recognize the invaluable contributions of Ohio Valley General Hospital, Ohio Valley Medical Center, and its employees, whose legacy of compassion and service continues to inspire us today. Now, therefore, I, Chad Thalman, Vice Mayor of the City of Wheeling, do hereby proclaim that we continue to recognize the profound impact the hospital has had on the Ohio Valley community, touching the lives of countless individuals and families over its 129 years of service, and that we commit to preserving and sharing the stories and memories, ensuring that its legacy of caring for the sick and injured remains alive in our hearts and minds. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Yeah, thank you. The Fox Family Singers. They are known throughout the Valley for their beautiful singing and outstanding harmony. Two of the family, Drew and Danny, both worked at OV. So we are honored to have them sing for us a musical selection. Please come.
Oh.
I thought it was.
I was a patient here many times. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our Father, brothers all are we. Let me walk with my brother in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Sing with us. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as
Thank you so very much. I think that's an appropriate thought for a lot of things right now in the world. Time changes things and the world moves on. We all know that. But it is important that we save and preserve our past. I would like to introduce to you my friend and the Secretary for West Virginia Culture and History, Randall Reed Smith, to say a few words.
Hi, my name is Randall Reed Smith, and I always say this with the greatest amount of pride and honor it is to serve on Governor Jim Justice's cabinet as his cabinet secretary for the West Virginia Department of Arts, Culture, and History. There's so many wonderful things that this department does, and historic preservation is probably the most important. Our mission, as it states, is to identify, preserve, protect, promote, and present the ideas, arts, and artifacts of West Virginia's heritage, building pride in our past accomplishments and confidence in our future. And we live those words every day. It was an honor for me to be asked by my favorite McKinley, no offense, Congressman, to come here and do this. Because as most of you may know, one of the things we're most important in charge to make sure that it stays is West Virginia Independence Hall. I first saw Independence Hall 19 years ago when I came back, and my only goal was to make sure that every child in this state saw the true, treasured, historic artifact of our state, which is West Virginia Independence Hall. It's the only state independence hall in the country, and it's where West Virginia became a state. And I love that I get to come up here every month and walk through that building, and you just feel who we are as West Virginians. When Mary was talking about the hospital, oh gosh, it's been going well over a year now. We were looking at this. And we have, not only do we have historic preservation, but we also have the archives, talking about how to, archive the artifacts. And we have the West Virginia Library Commission. And as you all know, you probably have, without question, the best library in the state of West Virginia here in Wheeling. So not only do they take very good care of their archives, but it's just amazing, their education programs for children, and it's so great that these archives will be there for people that can see this very important part of where West Virginia was born and our first capital. So historic preservation, Mary asked me to talk about historic preservation. And the first thing, I can't go any further without saying thank you to Congressman McKinley when he was there. In Washington. He alone saved not only the federal historic preservation tax credit, he increased it and fought his own leadership to make sure that was happening. So, David, I really appreciate, you ought to stand up, take a bow. Do what I'm telling you, stand up. So he made sure that that was increased to 25%, and then what happened? The state followed and increased ours to 20%. So it's 45% that we have on tax credit, and the governor is actually trying to get that increased up here more because we have to compete, as you know, with Ohio and Pennsylvania up here. So the only thing I really want to say about historic preservation, and this is a prime example of what's happening today, I always say, saving a building is not like chopping down a tree and you take an acorn and plant the tree and get it back. When you tear it down, you can't take a brick and build it back. So while we're sad today that we're losing a part of Wheeling and this whole Ohio Valley, we're grateful for those of you who will always protect and promote its memory. Please make sure, especially in Wheeling, West Virginia, that you protect our history of who we are as West Virginians. please. And if you all ever need anything, give me a holler. I'll take care of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, very much. Appreciate you. We also received letters of support. Mary Jo Guidi is here today, and from Senator Manchin's office as well as Senator Capito's office. So, Betty Jo.
Now we have to ask the rector of St. Matthew's, Josh Sachs, to come forward as we uncover the display and bless the contents.
I'm going to jump up in the pulpit, actually. Don't worry, I'm not preaching. That is tomorrow, but 10:30 tomorrow, if you're wondering. The reason I'm jumping up here is as they placed the things over here, the ferns were a lovely addition. And as I'm sitting out there, I realized that they might be blocking some of the view of you all. And instead of coming up and moving them, I didn't want to go against the will of church ladies because as a testament to what we've heard today, you don't go against the will and way of a church lady. So on behalf of the parish of St. Matthew's, I do thank you for joining us this afternoon in an effort to celebrate a place that made an incredible impact on community life here in Wheeling, and as well as the upper Ohio Valley. Again, as you heard, there was intentionality for holding this gathering here at St. Matthew's, as this congregation did play a pivotal role in the life of the Ohio Valley Medical Center. And just to reinforce some of what we have heard, as the rector of this church, I'll not ever relinquish the opportunity to talk about this place just a little bit more. And so I do want to share with you, highlighting again some of the history, the snapshot of the work that emanated out of these hallowed halls. Woven together from various archival sources, it is written that St. Matthew's, being a parish established in 1819, has had a history of community engagement, and most notably, according to said historic records, during the tenure of the Reverend Rodney Rush Swope, who served from 1878 to 1897, and who for 19 years stirred the parish to community consciousness. And under his guidance, many good things were started, including the Altenheim Home for the Aged and the Wheeling YMCA. And again, as Mary has shared, also influenced the women of St. Matthew's to form a guild to develop a fund that would facilitate the purchase of a property that would be converted into a hospital. And that hospital, being established, would become the Ohio Valley General Hospital. That group of women from St. Matthew's was known at the time, again, as the Hospital 10. And as we heard in the proclamation, this group of 10 women, how did they raise the necessary funds to help realize this vision? Rummage sales and parish suppers. Such is the power of a cookie made by the hands of a church lady. Following the successful campaign to raise the funds, a board of directors was established with the Reverend Rodney Swope serving as vice president. Other notable Episcopalians of Wheeling served on the board as well. All men, of course, but we must remember that it was 1890 after all. We cannot forget, though, that the founding of the hospital was due to the resolve and resolution of those 10 visionary women in our community from this community who demonstrated a faith in action. So again, on behalf of this faith community, St. Matthew's, I thank you for your presence here today. So we're close to concluding our time in this space, and I will offer a closing prayer. But before I do want to remind you that there are refreshments in our parish hall downstairs. Behind this wall, there are steps that can take you down that way. We also have an elevator for those that would need so. That will take you closer to the 15th Street side. As you walk that way, you'll see some double doors. If you're a member of St. Matthew's, please stand up. Very good. Most of these folks I was able to get, stand up. Most of these folks I was able to get a little pin to show that they are here. And if you do need some additional guidance or have any questions about anything in the space, please do catch somebody with one of those pins. Let us pray. O God of unchangeable power and eternal light, who gives us the seasons of the earth as signs of perpetual change in our earthly lives, it is this life experience that reminds us, that lets us see that things which might be cast down can be raised up, and things which had grown old can be made new. May we look to these earthly elements before us, comprised of carbon and clay, as a reminder of the good and charitable work begun in our community long ago. May your Spirit guide us to recognize that holy and sacred work as being accomplished not through things of a material nature, but of loving hearts and compassionate hands that sought to make a difference in the lives of this community. For it is through hearts and hands, through blood, sweat, and tears, that your will shall be done on earth as it is in heaven. In this struggle we call life, plant in us a faith that gives us the assurance that all things will one day be brought to their perfection by him through whom all things were made, and in whose name we pray. Amen. Mary.
Like you all, thank you for coming today. I do want to introduce somebody that's special to me and special to many of you, and that is Jeannie Carter, who is the first woman president of the Board of Directors. Jeannie, thank you. Leaving your bridge game or bingo or whatever for coming today. Oh, okay. We hope this brought some closure to many of you. We know that we made a difference. We've made a difference. There are light refreshments, as Josh shared with you, downstairs in the parish hall, as you like it, catering. We also put together a short slide presentation, just some pictures we came across that we thought you might enjoy. And of course, you want a brick. I need a brick. I need a brick. We've had people go to the demolition site. I need a box of bricks. We'll give you one or two today, but we also have a sign-up sheet if you want more that you could sign up, and we're going to make other arrangements to have more bricks, and we do have bricks. At the alumni dinner, we know we've got some bricks that we'll be able to distribute there. But those will be, go outside the handicap door, and they're right there. Now, before we close, I said to Mary, we've got to do this, and she said, oh no, but we're going to.
Okay, in closing, we ask all alumni and friends of the OVGH School of Nursing to please stand if you are able as we sing the alma mater, which is on the back of your program. Libby?
Hit it. Near the beautiful Ohio, glorious to view, with her nurses gathered round her, faithful, tried, and true. OVGH stands forever as a beacon light, pointing out a way of service, shining day and night. On through ages may she never
What we would like to make it a little bit easier for everybody, most of you can, we're going to sort of excuse people. And if you go this way, across the back, and come up the side aisle over here, you'll be able to see the old to the newer time capsule. If you'd like to go downstairs and get something to drink right now and then come back up, obviously there's going to be some time, as people are going to want to walk past here and take some time. The other thing, again, we would ask, no food or drink up here, and please don't touch the items. You might want to, but don't do it. Okay?
And if you want a
So,
brick, the bricks will be right outside the handicap.
outside the handicap door. They're going out the back. Can you get over here and start helping people to go? Yeah. Thank you all again very much for coming.
37 minutes, Mary. Oh my God, we did it. Great. One down.